Okay, what is the velocity of an ATV that goes 13 meters in 2 seconds? So first of all, we're doing velocity, so we're going to be using this equation this whole front page. We're working on practice 1 and practice 2. You picked up practice 2 today. You should have practice 1 already. Okay? Okay, so how do we do these? First thing that we do, we're going to do is we're going to draw just a really simple diagram. I'm not super picky on these just yet, but I will be going forward. So we've got a ATV, which looks totally like this. There we go. Doesn't look like a wagon, looks like an ATV. And I'm just drawing the direction of motion. I'm just showing which way things are going, just so I know which way everything is. This would be the direction of my velocity. So that would be the positive forward direction. Okay, so super simple there. Then I need to do what's called knowns and unknowns. We've talked about these briefly with distance and displacement, but you want to have a list of what you know and what you're looking for. So in this case, it says, what is the velocity? So I write V equals question mark. It goes 13 meters. So if I say I travel 10 meters or 10 miles or 10 centimeters, I'm telling a displacement. So the D is the 13 meters. And I do it in 2 seconds, and that is my time. Keep in mind, the easiest way to figure out what it's giving you is to look at the units. Meters has to be displacement. Seconds has to be time. So units are the easiest way to figure out what you have and what you need. Okay, once you've got that, you figure out what equation you're using. We're using this one the whole time on the front page, V equals D over T. Then you plug things in exactly the way they look. So if I plug in V, I don't know what it is, so I'm leaving it as V. D is 13. T is 2. 13 over 2 is 6.5. If you're not sure about the unit, it's meters over seconds. So the unit is meters over seconds, meters per second. And that's how you solve those. Okay? A couple of quick changes. You don't need to convert. We did that already. 35,000 meters should be what this one is. So just make that quick change. And then the second change is you can get rid of number 3. I'm going to change it to a different question because I don't think this one is that helpful. Okay? So for number 3, you can cross that out. And the question should be this. What is Usain Bolt's velocity if he runs 100 meters in 9.58 seconds? And you should do this question first. You should do that question, this new number 3. You should do this one first. Okay, so you got 3 questions. Go ahead and do those 3. So do the Usain Bolt one first. Then do 1 about the car, 2 about the person running. Once you get all 3 of those done, I can check it for you and see if you have any questions. The other thing would be to work on practice 2 on the front page. Again, do the front page, not the back yet. I don't want you to accidentally do the whole back wrong because you're trying to do it like the front page, because they're completely different problems. So go ahead and work. I'll come around and see what questions we have. The math might be the most unfamiliar. So let me show you again, what do I need work-wise? Because if all you give me is the answer, you will get exactly 1 point out of 5. Congratulations, you get a 20% on the assignment. You have to show me your work. Let me show you the minimum work I need. The minimum work I need is what is given and set up in the equation. That's the minimum that I need. Everything else from there you can do in your head on your calculator. Now, the more you do, the more I'll give you points if you get it wrong. But at minimum, I need the setup, I need the equation, and then your answer. Okay, so how long does it take? If I ask you how long it takes to bake a cake, or how long it takes to get to your grandma's house, you're going to tell me a time. So we're solving for t. It is traveling 35 meters per second. That's my velocity. If you ever are not sure, look at the unit. Meters per second is a velocity unit. And it drives 35,000 meters. That'd be a displacement. Okay? All right. Now I set up my equation. The equation is v equals d over t. That's what I'm using the whole time here on the front page. So v is 35 equals d, which is 35,000, over t. And this is where a lot of people got stuck. Because they looked at this and they're like, what? It's not over here. It's supposed to be over here. It's not over here. So I need a different equation. But I don't have a different equation. So here's what you do. In math, to get solved what you need to get solved, you do the opposite of what you are doing. So what am I doing? I am dividing 35,000 by t. So the opposite would be to multiply 35,000 to t. And I have to do it to both sides. Okay, so this t goes away, this t goes away. Because I'm multiplying by t, dividing by t, they go away. So I got this. I got 35,000 equals t times 35. Well, I want t by itself. I still have it with a number. So I need to do the opposite of what's being done. So what's being done is I'm multiplying t by 35. So the opposite is I'm going to divide t by 35. Okay? When I do, I get t equals 1,000. Always do the opposite of what's being done. If you're dividing, multiply. If you're adding, subtract. Always do the opposite of what's being done. Unless you can just do the math, right? Like right here, I just did the math. I didn't have to do any multiply, divide to the other side business. I just did the math. Over here, I have to do that because t was in the bottom. Now, do you have to show me the multiply t to both sides, divide by 30? No, you don't have to. If you can do that in your head, that's fine. I would encourage you to do it on the paper. The more work you do, if you do make a mistake, you can get more points back. Okay? All right, let's look at 2 then. This is another example of that. How far can a person go? So how far, that's a displacement. If they run at velocity of 8 meters per second for 180 seconds, so that's a time. Set it up. V equals d over t. So v is 8. D is not known, so I just leave it as d. T is 180 seconds. Okay, what is being done? I'm dividing d by 180. So the opposite is to multiply d by 180. So I multiply 180 over to both sides. The 180s go away over here. And I get d equals 180 times 8, which is 1440. Okay. Number 3 is just like the example, so I'm not going to go over that one specifically. You should get 10 point, I think is it 10.4? I think is what you guys got. Yeah, 10.4. Okay. Any questions on what I did for 1 and 2? Okay. All right. Let's go to the back side. And again, keep practice 2 out, because you can work on practice